yelling, the baby's crying, the dishwasher bell dings, and all sorts of stuff's going on, and I promise you it will not be 9 to 5. So a lot of that goes out the window. If you are doing things that better yourself and your business and really truly serve your client, so if you are showing property, if you are furthering yourself and getting more training, you're sitting through the most boring home inspection on earth, none of that is stuff that you're going to do at home on the couch. So you just have to be prepared to get out there. We are the only profession who will work 100 hours a week to avoid working 40. So you will not be home very much at all. And it's necessary. You must leave your house to build your business. I was in Nashville a couple of years ago, and there was a stage full of amazing minds who were there to give us all this amazing information. They were asked to give 1 point as a takeaway. One piece of advice, if you could tell these people one thing, what would it be? And Alyssa Hellman said she eats out every day for lunch because she's never once opened her refrigerator and sold a house. You have to get out there and be a part of your community. The flexible hours thing is absolutely a myth. So what do you do about that? You have to take control of your time. You have to set limits. And by doing that, part of that is training your clients and managing their expectations. So it's important to provide valuable service to your clients. It's important to communicate and make sure that you're talking to them and giving them the information that they need. But you also don't need to do that at 2 in the morning. There are people out there looking at Zillow at 2 in the morning. There are people who have questions about the square footage of their master bathroom that they just put an offer in on at 2 in the morning. That's not your responsibility. And so taking back control of your time, part of that has to do with deciding how you're going to do business and then making sure your clients understand that. There are going to be people who need you to talk to them at 3 in the morning. Those might not be your people. Those might be somebody else's people, depending on how you set your business up. So I also don't friend people on Facebook if I'm in the middle of a transaction with them, because I don't need them to know what I'm doing at 9:03 when I'm playing Candy Crush and they want to have a question and I get a text message. I see it, but I don't even open it, because first of all, I want that notification there so I don't forget to get back to them the next day. And secondly, that's time that's not theirs. So I want to make sure that I get back to them first thing the next morning. This is not procrastination, let's put these people off. But as soon as I respond to them at 9:03, I've now set the expectation that it's okay for them to ding me in the middle of the night, and I will jump as soon as they do to make sure their every question is answered. So set limits and teach your people how to treat you. Real estate is not life or death. I don't know if anybody's told you guys that yet or not, but FYI, real estate is not life or death. And by way of example, I have a lot of dentist examples because the analogy makes the most sense to me. But you can't call your dentist at 5 in the morning and ask them if that root canal you had last week took an hour and a half or was that 3 hours. And by that same token, your clients can't expect to call you at 5 in the morning and ask random questions that could certainly wait till normal business hours. And you have that power to set how you do your business. While we're talking about this, just as a PS, if you are letting calls go to voicemail and your voicemail says that you will call somebody back at your earliest convenience, stop it. That's not nice. Nobody thinks you're fancy. Everybody thinks you sound like a jerk, so please stop that. So the next thing you can do is set appointments. And I know it is hard. It is absolutely hard. We've had like 5 people up here today talking about scheduling and time blocking, but it is so incredibly important. You need to give people contained choices. You cannot just jump up every time something happens and go show a house. So if you have a new buyer that you're working with, I've got openings on Tuesday afternoon or Friday morning. What works better for you? If you say, when would you like to see a house? They will pick the worst possible time. It will be the time that you have to give up a ballet recital or reschedule a doctor's appointment or something like that. Give them contained choices, both of which work for you. And you can be flexible, and there are exceptions to every rule, but like guide those people to where they need to be. Kind of going back to that dentist idea, because this is how professionals operate. If you call and say, I need to get in, I need the next available appointment, and the dentist says, the receptionist says, okay, we can see you Tuesday at 2. Tuesday at 2 is really not good for me. How about 10 a.m. on Sunday? That doesn't work in most professional environments, and it doesn't work in my business. Now again, it may work in yours. Figure out what works for you. But in my house, Sunday morning is family and church. That's what we do, and I don't show property. And that's just not something I'm willing to give up on. So All of this relates to scheduling and time blocking, which is tough for a lot of people, and you need to find kind of like the best CRM is the CRM that works for you, the one that you'll use. Whatever method you have for time blocking or scheduling is the most important one. So that might mean you have a big digital or a big day planner. I have one. It's fantastic. It smells like pencil shavings, and I can erase and draw on it, and I love it. It works for me. My family is dragging me into the calendar on the iPhone so we can all coordinate at the same time. Whatever method it is that works for you, get it and block it, because your time is valuable. So you have to make that time available for you and for building your business, for your clients, and for your family. And again, there's always exceptions, but agents seem to have a hard time scheduling the things that will build their business and that make a difference. So when I was in New Jersey a couple of months ago, we were in a discussion, and there was a lady who argued consistently that she could not get on a schedule with, we were talking about video, using video in your business. Let your clients know that every Tuesday they can expect a tip from you, and it's going to be this video, you're going to do it every Tuesday at 10. That's just so hard in our business, because then the phone will ring, and then somebody wants to see a house, and then I have to run to the title company. Not if you have that time blocked. That is your time. So if you have blocked time for, blogging at 10 to 11 every Wednesday, and the phone rings, and somebody wants to see a house at 10, I'm sorry, I'm not available at 10, but I can show it to you at 11:30, or we can do 10 o'clock tomorrow. Those are options available to you, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. And it's not your client's business what you're doing. They may not value blogging, but to you it might be crucial because you're filling your pipeline so that when it starts slowing down, you still have people to sell houses to. That's really important business building stuff. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that and taking control, setting appointments. Very briefly, I'm going to hit on this one because I just really like this slide. One of the misconceptions is everybody has to live somewhere. And you're right, they do. Everybody's already living somewhere. So this is not Tupperware. This is not a part-time work-from-home gig where your husband's going to take your house to work and leave it in his wall locker for 3 months till it's all moldy, and then you have to throw it away, and then you have to find new ways to replace it and have a Tupperware party. It's not like that. Everybody's already living somewhere. Now, yes, there's riches and niches. We've heard this. And if somebody cracks the code on the useless brother-in-law niche, let me know. Because that's about the only homeless person that most likely is going to be in a position to work toward buying a house at that particular point in time. Everyone else is already somewhere. This is pretty much where we would talk about marketing, but we really don't have a lot of time for that. The whole point is to love on your people now, and they will love you back later. So you're going to be making sure that you stay in front of them with purposeful marketing. You want them to think about you. You want them to know that you're a professional they can trust, that you have their best interests in mind, and that you reach out to them even when they are not doing something that makes you money. So if you aren't already, just as a thought, Valerie Garcia has a fantastic Facebook page where she does a Facebook Live specifically for purposeful marketing. If you haven't seen it yet, get on there. It's called Love the Ones You're With. It's a really great, I don't remember how many now episodes she has, but she's got quite a few. Pulls information from agents all over the country and maybe even internationally, probably because she's in Canada. So great resource, check that out, and stay in front of your people with a purpose. This one is Be Your Own Boss. You've heard the saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. And once you get into real estate, they are all your monkeys. This is welcome to the jungle. It's all your fault and it's all your problem. You have to understand that you're a business and you have to plan for it. I know that there are some brokerages that kind of make it easy to slide into an employee mindset if you're not paying attention and working this as a business. Not having an S-corp doesn't mean you're not a business. This is still really important, and you have to work for it and you have to plan for it. And there are different roles in a business. So you're going to have a manager, you're going to have an admin, you're going to have salespeople, you're going to have a janitor. Those are all roles that you have to work on, and you have to figure out which one of those are your strengths. So as a boss, you don't want to find out that you're a really crappy employee. Or maybe you do. Maybe it would be better to find that out on the front end, because you cannot be amazing at all of the things. It's going to pull you too far. So the thing you can do about this is teamwork. Teamwork is your best asset. Once you identify what your strengths are, everything left is a weakness or something that someone else could do better than you. And so that's where you bring in someone, you delegate. You have to have the right person for the job. So maybe you're amazing at negotiating contracts, but you really suck at follow-up. Or maybe you're the best marketer ever, but you don't know what the letters P and L stand for. Those are times where you need to bring in people to help you. And this does not mean hire. I know a lot of people really freak out and they think, oh, I can't afford to hire somebody. There are lots of ways to do this in an efficient manner that doesn't cost out of pocket, but you need these professionals. You definitely need an accountant, especially if you don't know what P&L means. So make sure you find out about that. Also, as we're relating to teams, don't forget that your team includes your title people, your mortgage people, your home inspector. There are tons of different people who are a part of your team who are there to see you succeed, and you need to lean on those resources when the time comes. And our title track, everybody seems to think it's easy money. And if you've been doing this for more than 5 minutes, like, this will probably annoy you as much as it annoys me. It's hard. So you open doors and you look at pretty houses and you wait for the money to roll in. And for some reason, that's what a lot of consumers see, and that's certainly what a lot of people who are in a transitional thing thinking they might try out real estate seem to think. And it's awful. I mean, if anybody has been in business 7 years or more, remember foreclosures? People would get angry, and those houses would not be nice when they left them. Anybody who's worked with hoarders knows that it's not HGTV in there. And if that's like Lifetime Movie Network that has a hoarder show, it's something awful. But obviously, people believe this. Because if you look at new member orientations, if you look at the numbers coming through, they're just going up monthly. I don't know where the people go because they pay all the money and they sign up and they get their dues and they raise their hand and now they're ethical and then they go home and we never see them again. But the numbers continue to go up. This is the part where I tell you a funny joke, so get ready to laugh so I don't cry. A cop pulled a guy over for speeding, and she walks up to the window and says, "Sir, can I please see your insurance and your real estate license?" And he said, "Don't you mean my driver's license?" And she said, "No, not everybody has one of those." So, regardless of how difficult it was for you to earn your commission, because we all know we're going to have really great transactions, and you almost kind of watch out when you have that good one with the cute couple and everything goes well and happily ever after, because you know karma's going to come back with a transaction to make up for it. So regardless of how difficult it was for you to earn that commission, you have to have a plan and you have to have a budget, because remember, you are a business. Nobody else is going to deal with your nonsense and withholdings and everything else. And agents who don't plan and who take their split and run to target have a couple dry months and then they can't pay their association dues. And you do not want to fear the IRS in April. That is not a fun place to be. So you have to plan for it. I will tell you, because learning is important, the biggest mistake I ever made when I was planning, I think it was the biggest one in space one I'm going to tell you about, the biggest mistake I ever made was thinking that I knew what I was doing planning for tax time. The very moment I got a commission check, the first thing I did was put money in the tax bucket. And I even ramped it up a little bit, so I knew I'd have a surplus. And at the end of the year, it was going to be so exciting because I was going to stroke that check for my taxes, and then I was going to do something fun with whatever I had left and take the family to do something great. And I went to do my taxes, and I had set this amazing goal for myself, and I was so proud of it, and I hit it. And it pushed me into the next tax bracket. And that was not cool. So not only did it take every last drop of my tax bucket, but it also took a bunch out of my savings bucket and my vacation bucket, and like that's the downside to goal crushing. You have to plan for it. So make sure you know what you're doing. So now what? We have all of these things that we need to work on, and here's a bunch of things we could possibly do with it. You definitely want to be the shoe in this scenario, not the Lego. So Lego theme today. You have to plan, and you have to remember to plan with your heart and with your head. So business planning is important. Don't forget why you're doing it. I have a great story that I don't have time for to tell you about a broker who walked me through an exercise to prove to me that vision boards were important, because I really thought they were like ransom notes or something. I didn't understand the purpose of cutting pieces of magazine to stick on your wall. they actually serve a purpose. You have to remember why you're doing this. That's the only reason you get out of bed in the morning. And then you go with your business planning. I actually have a workbook that I put together. If you have no idea what you're doing, I'll be happy to send it to you. Just email me your contact information. It's very basic outline, just to kind of walk you through so you can get some sort of organization to what you're trying to do as your business. And the final slide that I have here is this one. I'm not preaching the gospel to you. I swear this is Zach Brown, but it is so, so, so important. Our business is built on the golden rule. And so often we forget that. Like, I pulled up the preamble the other day because I was like, I know I heard that in there somewhere. It is in there. Our business is built on the golden rule. So don't forget that. And here's my contact information. So if anybody has any referrals for Knoxville, Tennessee, please let me know. And if you'd like to reach out to me about that business information, business plan